Brad, welcome back. Looking at your time here so far, what kind of stands out about the organization? What excites you about the future?
What really stood out to me about the organization was just their dedication to wanting to be the best. I mean, I was really impressed coming in with just their attention to detail in everything that they do. You never question any decision. You can see that it's always in the best interest of the team and the players to try to help them win, to try to put them in the best position to succeed. And you can just tell that they're going above and beyond to make sure that the team has every asset available to them, every position, everyone in every position. Just seems like they're the best at what they do. And there's a complete buy-in through the whole organization to want to have success and to succeed. And it's impressive coming in and seeing that.
Brad, when we asked Bill Zito about bringing you back, bringing Bennett and Ekblad back, he didn't take any credit. He said it was all you guys that made that happen. How would you describe just your mentality, the approach to that process, and why it was so important to remain a Florida Panther?
Yeah, I mean, it's, it completely comes at the hand of Bill and the ownership. So it's nice of him to say that, but it's not true. He's the one that made it happen. Ownership's the one that made it all happen. The way they're able to make it all work with everyone coming back was pretty impressive. I honestly didn't think there was a chance of it happening. I did not expect to be a Panther this year. If I'm being completely honest, I just didn't think that it could work with everybody. So the fact that they were able to make it work when Bill called and told me that he wanted to make it work, I was ecstatic. I wanted to be part of this group, and I loved every second of being here after I got traded. But I just, I'm a realistic person, and when I look at it and I look at the cap position and everything, I just didn't think it was possible. But I'm extremely happy that not only I was able to be here, but the guys that were all able to remain here. Obviously, we lost Smitty and Vanny and obviously a couple guys, but I was Benny and Eki were two of the guys that I got closest with on the team. So I was thrilled that they were coming back, and I think one of the things that you look at the group, we're going to be together for a long time, and it feels incredible as a player to know that you're going to be part of a group that's going to be competing every year to play for a Stanley Cup. I mean, to win, you need so many different things to go right, and you need all the right calls, the bounces, guys staying healthy, guys producing at the right times. But so it's not a guarantee we're going to win every year, but we will be in contending talks every season, which is pretty remarkable.
When Benny and Chucky stole your speech at the parade,
yeah,
was your future in jeopardy?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I panicked up there. You got to come unprepared for those things, and that's a pretty, that's a great speech for that moment, but. And you just kind of wing it after that. Those are such fun moments that you get to look back on, and if you're lucky, you get to experience it once in a lifetime. And it's an absolute blur after you win, but that's some of the most fun is the memories you create together afterwards, and that was a great day.
The real question would be, you just said like you were surprised that the cap math worked out for everybody. Were you equally surprised that, there was speculation you were going to take 1 year, 2 year, whatever, the fact that you got a 6-year commitment from here that would take you, I think, to 42?
Yeah, well, there's speculation, but I was never going to take a 1 or 2 year deal, or even a 3 year deal. That just wasn't in the cards. I had a goal, what I wanted to be. I wanted to play as long as I could. And that was the goal that I had in the summer. It's part of why it didn't work out in Boston. It's the main reason it didn't work out in Boston. And and then So, yeah, all that speculation around it. I mean, you call a spade a spade. If we were not in a non-tax state, it wouldn't have worked out probably for two guys. Two guys probably would have been leaving in that situation. So that's a benefit that this team has that we were able to utilize and make work. But I'm thrilled to be here for the next 6 years, and like I said, it's I've said this before. I mean, it's a gift to play in this league. It's a privilege. It's not a given, and when it's done, it's done. You never get to do it again. So one of my coaches early on told me, and I'll forever live by that. I want to play till I get kicked out of the league. And it's hard to walk away from this. It's all I've ever known and all I've ever wanted to do. And I just have always felt like it'd be an injustice to my younger self. The one that always hoped and dreamed to be in the NHL to walk away from it before I couldn't play anymore. So that was the goal, to make sure that I could play as long as I could. And very honored and proud and thankful that Viola's and Billy gave me that opportunity.
I have one for you, but I want to follow on something you said real quick, just on the no tax thing. Was that prevalent in your negotiations, and do you think that is as big of a deal as like some people like to make it seem? But just to hear you mention it.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely a benefit to. For instance, if you go to a Canadian team, it needs to be 15% more on a contract to be the same as what it is here. Does it matter for every player? No. But if you're now dealing with the contracts that you're looking at, it's absolutely going to take place, or it's going to be something that you look at. Not only that, it wasn't probably as big of a factor back when some teams weren't as competitive or weren't run as well, because that is the main thing. You care about the hockey, you care about the organization. So you're not going to walk into a non-tax state and if the team's not run well or if they're a bad team, but that's just not the case anymore. These teams, non-tax state teams, are some of the best run teams in the league. So they're the teams you want to play for just because of the ownership and the management and how they approach the day-to-day game. You want to be part of that, and they're all contending teams now. So when you look at the teams that you want to play for, they're great organizations now. They're great contending teams, and they're the best places to live. And then, the non-tax on top of it, it's an opportunity for teams. Look at, you can pay some of the best players in the game a couple $1 million less, and they still net more money than, the highest tax state teams, and they're able to spread that around and bring more players in. So you can't say it's not a benefit. It absolutely is, but it's not on every contract. It's not for every player. But now with the way that, again, they're all contending teams, guys are just willing to take less to come here and be part of it and have a great lifestyle.
And the second one, you've been in the league for a while, obviously, so you are familiar with back when playoff format used to be 1v8, 2-7. A lot of guys have been asked about lately just if they'd like to go back to that, and I'm just curious what you think of it. Do you like it the way it is, or would you like to maybe see it go back to 1-8?
Well, I mean, what you're doing is you play all season to try to have an advantage, and now the way the format is, you could play an entire year and not get the advantage that you're supposed to get by finishing higher. It's at the end of the season, you can see teams, resting guys. It doesn't have the same importance and all that. So, I think it should be 1-8. The format now, I don't think many guys like it. I don't think it really gives you the advantage that you're supposed to have by finishing higher in the standings. But at the end of the day, honestly, to come out of the East or to come out of the West, you have to beat all the best teams anyway. Sometimes you just match up better against different teams than others. So usually the teams that, a lot of guys that are frustrated with it, sometimes you end up getting stuck against the same team year after year, and they have a better matchup than what you would like. So, I don't know if there's anything that we can say that's really going to alter it. But I think we all like that 1 and 8. I don't think you see many guys saying that they like the format now better than 1 and 8.
Brad, you talk about the privilege of playing in the NHL, savoring it. I remember in the playoffs last year, you said as things were going on, you kind of regret maybe not doing more of that throughout your career. Now, as you kind of kick off year 1 of 6 here with the Panthers, just how are things maybe going to be different for you in that aspect? How are you going to maybe soak it in more and kind of create these memories?
Yeah, I just try not to take things as serious. There's just a time and place where you got to enjoy it and not think it's the end of the world when, games don't go your way or, maybe not performing at your best. Obviously, there's a way to work through that and there's a time and place to focus on it. But a lot of times I'll let it consume, my whole life at home and you take that burden home with you or into other areas of your life and it just weighs on you. So it just, again, trying to have fun. I mean, I think you guys could see throughout the run last year and even here now, I think I just got to have fun with things a lot more and enjoy every moment because you don't know when you're going to have moments like we had last year and how long this stuff can last. Just trying to embrace it, have fun with it. For me, it's a lot of joking around and kind of having fun with things like that. But obviously, there's a time and place to work and compete, and I think that's one of the greatest things about this group is they're an incredibly hardworking team, which allows you to have a lot more fun in all areas of the game and in the room and stuff, just because you're working and you're competing at the highest level. And with that, you can bring more fun into it.
Brad, we've spoken to a couple guys already today about the prospects of playing at the Olympics. Obviously, 2018, 2022, you were a shoo-in if the Canadian team took the NHL guys to the Olympics. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case, but the prospects of possibly going to Milan with the Canadian team, just how much of a motivating factor is that for you this season?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a huge motivating factor for almost 15 years now. It ever since that I kind of had a taste back in 14 of going to that camp and being on that shorter list, it has been the thing that I've wanted to accomplish the most and be part of. There's a lot that needs to go right to be part of that group, and it's been obviously a driving force this summer in training and preparing for the season. It's still a long ways away. There's a lot of work to do between now and then, but it's by far the biggest goal I think I've ever had. There's a level that you have to get to just be in the NHL and just to stay here. Very few guys ever even dream of being part of that group growing up because you're the 1% of the 1%. But it's definitely something I've thought a lot about.
Hey, Brad. First off, how much Dairy Queen did you consume this offseason?
I tried to cut it back, but I had too much in playoffs, so it was getting a little bit big there. So I had toned it. I had a couple, though. Yeah.
Good. And then my actual question, you've been on a team that won the Stanley Cup and then had to try to defend it. What did you learn from that experience that you're going to try taking this year? And obviously, this group did that exact thing last year. Just what can you take from having that experience going into this season?
Think one of the bigger things is that you have a massive target on your back, and not just because of last year, but the last few years. Every team now knows that we're a legit contending team again, and we're very deep. So you're going to get every team's best every single night. So you can't take nights off thinking it's going to be easy. This is a very unique situation. After a team's been to the finals 3 years in a row, there's only been a few teams in the last 25, 30 years that have done that. So there's going to be a lot of management, load management, stuff like that. More, I think the mental grind is going to come into play. I'm just a young buck, so probably not for me, but for everybody else. But I think it's honestly just about making sure we just reset and understand that we got to start from ground zero, build a foundation again. We are in a great spot because we don't have many new faces and there's a comfortability throughout the group in the system and everything. But There's going to be different hurdles that we're going to face this year as a group that, we didn't even face last year, and things that are going to come up. But adversity is always great for a group, and I love the people that we have in our room. I believe that we have the ability to move through that and face it together. And that'll help build our game stronger. So there's going to be a lot of challenges this year, but I think we're going to embrace that and be excited about it, and try to build something and do something that teams haven't been able to do in many, many years.
Brad, I know we talked last year a lot about, can you believe you're in Florida after all those years in Boston? But what's it going to be like starting a training camp with a new team for the first time in your career? And what did you learn about South Florida, the Panthers, the whole experience since the trade deadline 6 months ago?
Learned you get a great tan down here. Yeah. No, I have been very impressed with this fan base. I have been blown away with the support that the team gets. I did not expect that, coming from a huge hockey market. I thought we'd come down here and no one would really know about the team, and people come to the game, and a lot of people from different cities and states and provinces, but there's a massive market down here for the team. Fans love it, and it's incredible to see. I was blown away with the support. It'll be really nice to start from day one here, building the foundation of your team from training camp is a huge part of the season. It's a huge part of team success. Having the relationships with the guys already, just feeling very comfortable. It took me a while to get comfortable coming in last year. It really wasn't until playoffs. I said that before, but I feel great from day one. So I'm really looking forward to kind of getting underway and seeing what training camp and the testing and all of that stuff is like here. But yeah, we have such a great group from ownership down to trainers, players, coaches, everybody involved, and like I said, when you have the group that we have and that we're going to have for a long time, there's a lot of excitement in the room and a lot of there's a lot of excitement about the potential to do it again, and I don't think there's anybody that's complacent. There's a lot of drive in the room right now, and that's special. You don't see that often.
Yeah. One of the things, there's a lot of ways to approach a three-peat, or realizing you were only here for last year, but some teams would maybe back away from it, say it's a long way away, long season. But you guys seem to be embracing the idea of, and I'm just curious, is that inside the team? Is it an open conversation, or how are you guys dealing with that?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's something that we talk a lot about. I think it's just you look at the people and the character in the room, and there's a mindset that you need to have success. And I think that that's one of the things that the management and ownership have done a great job at, is bringing in like-minded people that, they're committed in a certain way and they have the right mindset. And then also when you come into this culture and you come into the room, you see it, and it's something that's very easy to buy into. And that the big thing with that is complacency. You don't see that in this room. Like after the season, a lot of guys would take a ton of time off. Everyone was in the gym right away, skating, training, getting prepared for this year. It wasn't one of those things where it's like, oh, we got to take even more time off because, we've done it 3 years in a row now. It's like, hey, we got to do it again. So yeah, I think the biggest thing is that just everyone kind of has a similar mindset, and when you get a taste of it, you really, really want it again. I think that's the toughest thing, is that there's a lot of people that have been really close, and you think you know what it's going to feel like, but until you do, like, there's nothing that replicates it. There's nothing that you can say that's going to explain how great of a feeling it is to accomplish that goal. And it just gives you even more of a drive to want to do it again. And I think that the guys in this room have now felt that a couple of times. And just before that, they felt the loss and how much it hurts to not win. So it's a very easy thing to push for when you go through that.